Hello and welcome to the stream where I'd forgotten that we don't have an intro video for any of the new tracks. And we're at Indianapolis for the third round of Season 2 of the Assetto Corsa Competizione Sim Series. And I'm Gareth Fronter. Hello everybody. Hope you are having a good day today. We have just started qualifying. You can see the cars there leaving the pit lane about a mile away. You can watch this Lamborghini and see absolutely how long it takes to traverse this mammoth of a pit lane. And I forgot to test this, so we're going to have to see how it works. But as we watch these cars crawl out for their first lap, let's see. There we go. It worked. This is the standings as it goes in Pro. I still haven't actually fixed how AMS is sort of a little bit awkward. I'm going to have to look into this. I don't know if there's a great fix, apart from just having more AM drivers. But we can see about the top 10 of AM there. These are the guys who are going to be going out to race today. Harley Coleman in the lead, quite far ahead of his next rival, Matt Smith. You can see the rest of the field are like quite close down to 6th with Dennis Gotto. I know Matt's Eckhart, Gotto. Some of these guys have been having some battles with each other. Pro is where the bigger competition is. Obviously, we'll see them qualifying afterwards. Guillaume Hamling, a small lead from Bart Raven, fighting for the championship, and then there's quite a drop to everybody else. There is Mats in his Swedish McLaren heading out. And let's hit the map and see who's coming around. 109 is coming around to start a lap, so let's go on board for a lap of Indianapolis in the Aston Martin down this very long main straight. On the oval, braking at 300 board, throwing the car in over that little bit of curb. Awkward pit exit there as well. So got to be careful there during the race. This will be a 1 hour race with a mandatory pit stop again. First section of Indianapolis, a couple of sort of quite awkward medium speed corners, probably you'd call them, and then into this, which is a bit of a hairpin, very long. And when it finally ends, you're immediately flung into the back straight here and go very wide off there. That white line, as with a lot of American tracks, does not mean the edge of the racetrack. Breaking down to one of probably the only other overtaking opportunity other than the first corner, really. And then you just have this tricky little left-right before you get back onto the banking. The bit we're all here for, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, up onto the banking, yes. And now we're about to go around the whole corner. Oh no, wait, there's a chicane here. Very sad. So are those polystyrene blocks that have just been destroyed. But there is the pit entrance, which a lot of people don't notice on their first trip round. Hopefully everyone has done some practice and knows where they are meant to be going. There's our lovely chaperone here. Coleman crosses the line. I'm not sure how far the line is. There we go. It's over it now. And there are the times so far. Only 6 lap times set so far. A couple of people have tried, but not set their times. 1:35.9, the principal time from Evans there. Oh, we just see a Porsche getting off the track. We're going to have to check out what happened here. Porsche must be Evans then, mustn't it? Oh no, it was a Bentley. He's already lost it. Oh, that's Eckhart then. Very close there from Coleman. Lucky that he didn't crash into it at all. So yeah, back to the times. Yeah, 1:35.9, obviously coming in from Evans, but we know Evans is a little bit faster. He's one of the new drivers. That is what that silver or grey name means, grey colour. And he should probably be with the pros. Connor Quinn, the other new driver, he fits a bit more in with the AM times. So 1:37.6 is sort of the real pole of AM so far. We'll get into watching the carnage. Our AMs, quite a few Astons, a couple of Lamborghinis actually, interestingly. Mark Turner here has chosen this very traditional Barwell Lamborghini scheme. And then Sakir Duran in the black and white colour there. Sakir Duran, I don't remember him being here for the last couple of races, so I think he might be a late entry. Dennis Gatto here, drifting around in his Gulf Racing McLaren. Even though Gulf left McLaren this season, so just going to have to update it, maybe become a Williams livery. Obviously, Coleman we saw in the Aston. Our other Astons are Daniel Badej in the Kuven Parker livery. You'll see a lot of those neon lovelies driving around. And then Connor Quinn, our new driver, is in the SLR Aston Martin livery. You have one Mercedes of Matt Smith in the Ram Racing, the art car. And then obviously Evans Porsche. Mats in another McLaren, the Swedish colours. And Eckhart von Glan in that Bentley that you saw spinning around earlier. Doing his second loop through every car in the game in ACCSS. Over Apex Bentley. A Bentley that we don't see... do you know, the Bentley in general we don't see enough anymore. I really hope that, not wanting to add to the copium within the community, I really am hoping that the Bentley gets some love in the next patch. Even though I've never been someone who wanted to drive the Bentley, I don't see them. We don't see them enough anymore. They're nice chunky little cars to have on the track. So I hope that we get to see them again. Eckhart is going to come round and set his first lap time here. He is now on the board officially. Duran with a 36.9, closer to Evans, but and is about to improve again. There we go. 36.8 there for Duran now, and Mats has also set his first lap. So everybody with a lap so far. That's good to see. Evans with a 1:35.5, so that's an improvement on his time as well. Obviously, not going to focus on him too much, seeing as we'll get to really see where his time lies when the pros come out. Does have the slight disadvantage being a new driver of the earlier track conditions, but obviously not a huge amount of track evolution in ACC, thankfully. Trying to look for someone who might be improving their time, but they all seem to be losing their time in this last sector with that last chicane. Harley Coleman here. He's up by quite a lot, so he should be getting an improvement here. He's going to have to mess up a lot in order to not improve as the pros come out ready to start their laps. Got the 44 car off there. That's Matt Smith in the Mercedes. Second up from Coleman. That could put him into second place in AM. There we go. Nice run there from Harley Coleman. Do we have anyone else out? Yep, so here we go. 555. Duran is also, so missing the corner there. Duran is also coming back. I think he is coming to the pits though, judging by this excellent camera work. There we go. Nice bit of pit lane practice. And then we get the lovely ACCSS livery of Dan Terry. And we will see him go around for a lap. There we go, Dan Terry's first time coming in right in the middle of the AM field. Looks like Bart Raven will be the next driver to set a time. No, he has invalidated his lap. Guillaume Hamling goes up to very close to Evans. A lot of drivers still yet to set a lap time. We're watching Cody going around again. Guillaume Hamlin catching up to him a little bit there, but a little bit ahead of him. While some of the drivers we need to take notice of. Smoggy has gone up to the fastest lap. Bart Raven should be coming in for a lap soon. We'll see the timings change a bunch as this big group of cars crosses the line. It comes down to Cody here, how good Guillaume's lap's going to be. If I know Guillaume gives up. He could have got an almighty slipstream down there if Cody had given him the space, but doesn't need to. Keep him going. Here's Alexander in his new Audi, goes up to 4th position. Good work there by Sasha. Bart Raven still not to set a valid lap. Christopher Elberg Matthew F. and Gustav Godstig also not set a lap, although 2 of those have just immediately gone and done so. There's Gustav on the track. Oh, he's just ahead. Just a little while ahead of these guys we're watching. Hello, Andre. Good to see you. Got some hype for Ed Terrell, as always. The boys are strong in chat. Here we go, Bart Raven. We're looking for him to set a pretty good time here, hopefully. He is obviously fighting for the championship right now with Guillaume Hamling, who has the pole position time at 1:35 flat. We get a good slipstream down here as well from Dan Terry. There we go, into 4th. So a good run from Bart Raven, not quite where he'd want to be, but a good run for now anyway. Don't worry guys, I've already wished Ed a happy birthday in the in-game chat, so he knows we're here for him. Christopher Elberg there jumps up to 11th as we watch Matt F cross the line to take 7th. So Smoggy has taken back pole position of 1:34.8. So Smoggy putting in those really good times. Where is Smoggy? So Smoggy is down in 9th in our championship so far, although he does have 1 win. He's only participated in 1 race, so he must have missed last week's double header. Last week's races, one of them won by Guillaume Hamling, one of them won by Bart Raven. So Smoggy obviously down in the championship due to that, but he does have the pace to make himself a challenger. Guillaume Hamling very slightly up on his time, but he doesn't need a huge amount. All about this last corner. Puts himself in it quite well. Nice run through the chicane in the midpoint, but not the best of exits. And he's just dropped under the time improvement needed to take pole, but increasing that or decreasing that gap there. These two very much above the rest so far. Evans, time strong enough to hold P3 still. Quite impressive. James Holder, one of the drivers looking to take that away from him. He has the fastest sector 3 in his goated Aston Martin livery, whatever. We'll stick with it. Matt F also on an improvement right now that could see him disrupt that new driver from his spot in 3rd. But once again, that trip into the last corner, it just ruins lap times. It's an absolute lap time killer. No one will be improving. That F right behind the Roy Weller delivery Audi of, I guess that is Christopher Elbow. Slipping down the straight as well. This is going to be a big improvement from Matt F onto 3rd. Massive run for Matt F. Good job there. He's one of the first drivers to take the checkered flag as well. We have more drivers coming across for improvements on their lap time. Bart Raven with an improvement, but not enough to really keep him in this championship fight. Stuck in 6th position there. So Smoggy in 284 is the next car looking for a position. He holds the fastest sector 1 and 2. And of course the outright pole position. He's looking for an improvement to pull himself even further away from his rivals. The next two looking for times are James Holder and Eric Larson. James Holder barely on the cusp of making an improvement, while Eric Larson is about half a second up. Larson, I am absolutely fantastic at speaking today. There we go. So Smoggy gonna get another 3 temps up on his rivals. Huge performance from that man. James Holder has thrown it away, but we are still left with Eric Larson to bring this big grunty boy across the line with a huge improvement himself, which could drag him up pretty far. There we go, 3rd position for Eric Larson. So yeah, you can see there my happy birthday Ed message. So congratulations to all of our boys so far. This is how the qualifying order looks as we finish qualifying. We come back into the game as I finally remember how to control this. For some reason, I've been doing these grid walks for as long as we've been doing these streams, but I forgot all of the controls today apparently, and I ended up on the other side of the universe because I'd sped my camera up too much. So Smoggy, in his Mercedes AMG, takes pole position ahead of Guillaume Hamling, one of the championship fighters in the Lamborghini. Second, Mercedes AMG is in 3rd position, driven by Eric Larson in one of the better crack liveries I've ever seen, to be honest. Very nice look there. Matthew F. then, in his black Porsche 911, is in 4th position, ahead of the Ukrainian Audi of our boy Sasha. Evans then is in his white Porsche. I think I haven't updated the liveries because I believe he does have a livery on that, so that might be my bad there. Bart Raven, the 51 car here, he's one of the championship rivals, and he's going to want to pull himself further up the field than his qualifying position of 7th. James Holder and Dan Terry, the next 2 cars, both in Aston Martins, ahead of Attila Cody in the next Porsche, who rounds out the top 10. So as we see all of our drivers heading off for this formation lap, ready to go into a little bit of a break, and we'll come back to you when the race starts. Here we are, back and ready to roll. Green light is gone, and we are starting the 1 hour race at Indianapolis in ACCSS. Sasha there with an excellent start in the Audi as always. Was looking a little bit aggressive, but has gone on some early safe braking there. Bart Raven is trying to make a move up the inside, gets a little bit of a tap from James Holder behind. Everyone at the front is through cleanly. Sir Smoggy lost the position to Guillaume Hamling early on. And he has taken it. There has been a big crash further back in the order. And a bunch of these guys have now been thrown down the order. We won't look at a replay yet. We want to make sure that we see what's happening racing up in the front of the pack. A lot of guys here just pushing up onto the edge. You can see car 50 there. Bart Raven fighting with Sasha slightly further back. Takes the position there. Sasha staying wide to be careful, and getting a little bit close there to Dan Terry. James Holder sniffing on him as well. As they just cross on. There's been another crash on this first lap as we have Cody side by side with Elberg, but Elberg getting a better run out of that corner and up onto the banking for this time. Oh, but misses the corner hugely. That's going to lose him one space, almost two. Very lucky they managed to keep that one there. You can see side by side two of the cars behind them as well. This order is a little bit mixed up from where it is on the graph, I believe. But there's Duran just taking a bit of grass back onto the main straight. Taking out some of the cars down here in case we see any dives. Bart Raven positioning his car as if he's ready, but not going to try and make any sort of move on Mark Evans ahead of him. Terrell, though, in a battle here with Daniel Badej. Just doesn't quite have the pace there. The Aston Martin has him squeezed into the exit of the track there, and he can pull on further as we still have fighting all up and down the field. Elberg there trying to put his nose in on James Holder there, but outside. So not going to make anything work there. Everyone just taking a little bit of grass. Matt Chauvelin having the fastest lap so far. Quiros just behind Cody, having a little bit of a bad run for that corner there. Blows down the Aston and almost going into him, Elberg. Elberg not quite on his brakes yet in this race, and now is pushed back into this pack. Johnny Wu, Zyprex, and I think that's Harley Coleman just behind there. Who's the Mercedes? Oh, that isn't. Oh, so, Duran, sorry. Duran is the other one. He's in the Lamborghini that we are looking at. Oh, multiple people going too wide there. Elberg keeps the inside, so it's probably fine. Johnny Wu, however, is going to gain a position on Zabi behind him. Zabi could get the run down the straight. He's very close there, but he's had to come out early, which has lost him that slipstream. He's not gaining any time. Is he going to send it in the braking zone? No, can't do it. Johnny Wu late on the brakes himself, misses the apex slightly, but holds that position. There is the important bit further up ahead. Still have this battle. Cody just managing to hold on to everything here. Smoggy is keeping in track with Guillaume, but has not managed to put too much pressure onto him. Behind him then you can see Larson and Matt F coming down the straight there. And then behind all of these guys is Evans, Bart Raven, Sasha, and then Daniel Terry. And that's before this fight that we were looking at before. Alexandra Quiros down on the inside of Cody. Squeezes Cody to the inside of that corner and takes the position for now. Chaos in the background as well. So let's maybe have a quick check of how some of these incidents happened. Oh, James Holder there taking the inside as well on Cody, so he's lost another position there. Here we go. This is Quinn. He's quite far back, so it looks like he might have been involved in this crash. Getting a little bit bunched up, and then, oh, Matt Smith around there. There we go. That was the crash into lap 1 that we were talking of. And then there was another incident further back. Let's see if we can see this from Gustav Gordstig's perspective. Is it? Oh, no, that's just Mats having a little bit of an incident, so it must be slightly further on. No, I think this is just going to be maybe a tap between the two. Yeah. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there, it turns out. So even closer racing than could have been imagined. Back to concentrating on the action as we see it. There's still people side by side, still stuff happening. As much as I have not been the biggest proponent of Indianapolis, it's definitely giving us plenty of action here in the early stages of this race. Looks like Sasha has made a bit of a mistake. He's now defending from Daniel Terry. And ahead of them, Bart Raven is pushing Evans. Now F right on the back of Eric Larson as well. It's been 4 laps and we're finally starting to just have a little bit of peace without there just being fight after fight after fight on my timing tower. Hammond still leading from Smoggy, Larson and Matt F. Evans, Raven, Sasha, Terry, Quiros and Holder rounding out the top 10. So Duran in this Lamborghini is leading the AMS by quite a good way. Holly Coleman and Daniel Badej fighting over the rest of the podium. Ross coming down the main straight on the back of Terry. Doesn't quite want to send it. Larson there, it looks like, has made a bit of a mistake. Let's hop into a replay and see what's happening there. Oh, that is not the line, my friend. He has entirely missed the corner. I was worried that this wouldn't have been an incident because the yellow flag was so short, but he was technically on the track, I guess, until he hit the grass. So that has lost Eric Larson quite a few positions now. There was contact, but is this part of the same incident? I don't think so. I think that was just a little tap on the back, maybe, from Matt F there. So it doesn't look like he was pushed through turn 1 there. It looks like he just made that mistake. The two McLarens in AM having a bit of a fight here. Dennis Gotto chasing Mats Chablon. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Absolutely not confident in that. Oh. I was looking away when that happened. Oh, there we go. Over too much curb. Bouncy, bouncy, and the McLaren does not like that. So back onto real time, and we're going to be out here just slightly ahead of that, actually, watching these two Porsches scrapping for third position overall. Matt Evans looking to get onto the overall podium ahead of Matthew F. Raven holding on to the back of these two, but really needs to gain some positions if he's going to go anywhere in this championship. He's very slightly behind Guillaume Hamling. Daniel Badej, Connor Quinn taking 10-second penalties. Let's find the steward sheet. And then we can go and have a look what that's for now that things have calmed down just a little bit. So the 27 and the 44. This here is considered a penalty for the 27 for being a bit too aggressive there into the middle of that free wide and turning the Mercedes. There's then a warning for 51, a warning for 800, and then for 820. This is the penalty for Daniel Badej. Yeah, oh, a bit of a late dive there. Takes the other Aston around. A couple more warnings coming out for more recent incidents, but that is it so far. So our stewards happy with what they have seen for now. And we are left with one of the battles on track, Gustav Godstück. Leading this up. Oh, Quiros and Terry. Something happened there. Let's see. So that is James Holder in the middle of these three, and something has happened with him. Does he just miss the corner? Yeah, misses the braking point into that tricky chicane, and then dives off the track. Ooh. He has now, you can see there, lost the position to these two, who are going to continue to scrap for 8th position. Good job by both drivers there to avoid contact. Bart Raven is luring onto the back of these two Porsches a little bit more now. Not loving the performance of that BMW around here. You can see in the background Sasha and Eric Larson, and then further behind that Terry Quiros Holder battle that we were watching earlier. Just behind them as well, Elberg is keeping up with Cody, so the fights keep on going. Elberg has sent it down the inside to make that move happen. Oh, what was that? A little bit of a slap into the wall there for Christopher Elberg. Does he get knocked in the back by the Porsche? Yeah, just knocked by Cody, not quite hit his braking, so that is why Cody slows up there on the exit to give Elberg back that position. Hello Ashley, good to see your name in chat. Hope you're doing well. And Terry is desperate, he says, to get out of the Aston Martin, but still has not managed it. He said he was going to drive the McLaren for this season, but he backed out of that just before the season. There from the cars ahead, as we see once again Alexander Quiros chasing Terry down to turn 1, but just not feeling confident with his brakes to make a move. Big wide moment there for Quiros, but no room on the inside for Holder to get in. He was just that little bit too far back to make an opportunistic move at that point. Should also check here what happened to Elberg. Is that already after he's fallen off? It seems like he's fallen down. I saw him lose a few places there. But he did not go into a long enough replay, so let's check the last event of what happened. Oh no, this is something we've already seen. That is him getting hit into the wall by Cody, so he must have just made a mistake by himself, although it is apt timing that we watch that because Cody has just received a 5-second penalty for that. That will not give the position back to Elberg though right now, as he's dropped down the order so far. So in this event config, there is no mandatory tyre change. So that changes up the strategical thinking a little bit. A lot of people will be trying to go just as long as possible and only drop a litre of fuel into the car. I haven't heard anyone talking about how bad the tyre wear is around here. And so my default assumption is that they will not be changing. Even in quite bad tyre wear situations, it's normally better to not change in an hour race. Ooh, a little bit slidey there from the BMW. I didn't see any contact that would have led to that. But he stays just ahead of James Holder. However, the Aston Martin has seemed to be stronger on the straight in all, so if James can get a good exit from here, and he might not even need it. Around the outside, the BMW cuts the grass a little bit to try and give him room, and there he is. Another Aston Martin now ahead of Alexandra. This gives Dan Terry a little bit of breathing space. Eckhart von Glan there, the back marker. Oh, and we have had a crash. But here we are in the replay. Connor Quinn following Gustav Gorgstig. Oh, and just dives onto the inside. Takes out Alexis. For Elberg has pit. Connor Quinn also has pit, or is coming in there. Probably got a bit of damage to sort out on his Aston Martin as Christopher Elberg leaves. So that is quite an early one. Very short pit stop, so he hasn't put in a huge amount of fuel. Maybe just a little tiny bit of damage that you wanted to fix up, or just wants to get out of the fight right now. Not sure why exactly he would pit so early. We're not going to try and do some sort of tyre change nonsense or anything. There is Sasha still on the back of Eric Larson. On Coleman, fighting with his friend Eric Larson. He's on the inside there, a little bit of a touch as they go through the chicane. He takes the position from the birthday boy in his Yota. Ed better not think he can keep that number, by the way. That is my number. It is now the turn of James Holder to be attacking Dan Perry, which is interesting. Very aggressive driver Holder, as you can see. And now that we have a car with a better straight line speed on the back of Dan Terry, we might be able to see an overtake into turn 1 where we couldn't from Quiros. Oh, and there we go. The kill coming in from James Holder. Pushes Dan Terry around and loses the position to Alexandra, who is getting a double out of that. Dan Terry has now been put into this pack as well. He's coming out just behind Zabi there. Killer Kobe leading, Johnny Woo just behind him. And there's a Sen coming in behind as well. Circuit Durant. Now that is on a back marker. That was quite a lunge in the background, getting past Eckhart nice and quickly. See what Johnny Woo sees with this group of cars in front of him. Dan Terry now in a group that he didn't want to be in before. Hopefully for his sake these guys have speed to match his own. He won't be getting held up too much. Hello Jack, welcome to the stream. Things are going well. We are halfway through the third race of the championship for the Assetto Corsa Competizione Sim Series, posted on SGP, of course. Guillaume Hamling is still leading. He took the lead from Sir Smoggy on lap 1, and Smoggy, even with the fastest lap of the race overall, that's only a tenth or so faster than Hamlin has gone, so he has fallen back 2 seconds overall. Matt Evans doing a good job. The newcomer to the series in 4th position, not quite able to take a podium off of Matt F. And then the next interesting story really is Bart Raven. Bart Raven down here in 5th has fallen off the 2 Porsches. And he really needs to crack on a bit if he's going to battle Hamlin for this championship. Biggest battle we have is still this newly formed battle around Dan Terry after getting knocked about by James Holder. Well, thank you. Not a lot of real life racing happening this weekend, so it's just a focus on ACCSS and having a bit of a relax. We will obviously be here tomorrow. If you are not followed, make sure to get so you can see when we go live. Paul Glover will be bringing you a 3-hour race from Imola for our Cup Series. There we go, the move being made by Zabi. On the inside for the corner, but not quite ahead. He broke nice and early, but in fact it was too early. Gives Tillicody the path back through. Dan Terry falling off of these front two and being hounded all the way by Johnny Woo. Duran just keeping a watchful eye over this. Doesn't need to get involved, but needs to keep pulling away from Harley Coleman. We're getting to halfway through the race now, where you would be pitting if you did want to take new tyres and get the best of those 2 nice quick stints. But as I said, I expect people to carry it on because there is no need for that in this series. Question there from Baggy's Man in the chat: why does M. Evans have a different colour number to everyone else? Are they in their own class? Yes, so the classes, the white numbers are our pro class. They are everyone with, I think, 5k SGP rating and above. Red is for the AM class, who are below that. And the silver or grey numbers that Matt Evans has up in 4th position and Connor Quinn down in 24th position have, they are to distinguished drivers who have not driven with us before and do not have a ranking to go off of. So these guys are totally new to the series, and therefore we did not know where to rank them, and we put them in their own class for their first series. So he is technically winning the new driver class by a mile, but obviously you can see the real competition for him is trying to get those overall positions against the pros. Tillicody has had a bad run there. This could put the Mercedes there on his inside. Dan Terry is going to settle onto the racing line, try and slot inside. Tillicody had to give a little bit of room there because of the car in front. Dan Terry tried to utilise that space to put his car in there, but hasn't managed to. This has all just closed up this battle, though, up until 10th position, which is now held by Zabi. 15-second penalty ahead of them for James Holder as well, so this is effectively 9th they're fighting for, unless James Holder can pull a huge amount of space from the rest. Oh, Dan Terry there. I thought he'd gone wide, but he's actually sending it to the pits. I'm going to change to the other camera to see anything going into the pits. There we go. So interesting. Not a bad choice, as that fight is getting a little bit lively, so deciding just to hop out of that and let them continue squabbling. Well, he's just going to try and set better pace laps further down on the grid. pairing with Johnny Woo here. Actually tied in the speed trap record here with Sasha, interestingly. Dan Terry is a nice short stop. No damage to repair there for him, I believe. We also then have Daniel Badej and Mark Turner from the AM class going into the pits as well. Some people choosing just to spread out their stops. As if they were changing tyres, just for comfort, I assume. Zabi now is pulling quite away from this. Tiller Cody just slowly slipping down the order. Oh, and there's Zabi into the pits as well. So that's an interesting one. He seems to just be doing that for comfort reasons as well, because he was ahead of these guys here and he wasn't really close enough to any of them to feel particularly pressured, I don't think. Oh, Cody almost making the same mistake that got him a penalty before, and instead, in order to avoid it, just sending himself into the wall. Oh, just not quite close enough there. Missing the corner even with that tap onto the wall. That's broken up this fight. But Raven, a little bit further back than last we saw him actually, is he? No, he used to be behind... Yeah, he used to be behind the two Porsches. So that is Matt F and Matt Evans, who are up in 3rd and 4th. So he's dropped behind Larson and Sasha here. Matt F is now in the pits. See if anyone has had particularly long or short pits. Okay. We have some interesting decisions here. Zabi. Mark Turner. Daniel Badej. And it looks like Matt F. No, Matt F has just had 19 seconds stationary in the pit, which means he cannot have changed tyres. The other 3 names I've named stopped long enough to change tyres, so I assume that they have. But Matt F has not, so he must have just done some damage. Or maybe started with less fuel than the others and spent more time in the pit lane. Don't think that's the best strategy. We'll see how it comes out for him. He was in 3rd when he took the pit lane. Zabi is going to be another interesting one. He was decently far up there. He was in about 8th position, as it were, I believe. And so we're going to have to see where he comes out as well. He should be able to push pretty hard on those new tyres now that he has them. Evans also in the pit, so he's reacting there to Matt F. He doesn't know how long Matt F has been in the pit there. There you can see Gustav Gorgstig. He also had 12 seconds stationary, so more than you would normally for putting in just fuel and popping off. So either a larger amount of fuel or some damage to repair there. This is also a longer than needed pit stop from Matt Evans. 19 seconds as well, actually. Spun his wheels up a little bit before going, so lost a bit of extra time there that he didn't need to. Apart from that, though, he had a very similar pit to Matt F, so interestingly they seem to be doing the same sort of strategy. Bit of an incident here between these two. We'll just quickly check that while they're going down lane. Oh, Bart Raven tries to get on the inside and there just was not room for that. Almost spins Sasha out. So Matt Evans there's just leaving turn 1. You can see him in the background of this shot as Matt F takes to the track again. So he hasn't lost position directly on his rival behind him. Both doing a very similar strategy, interestingly, not taking tyres, but taking more than just the regulation 1 litre of fuel. There's Gotto, Duran from the lead of Am, and Ed Terrell are all in the pit lane as well. There's Ed Terrell just leaving. He's had a 10-second stationary as well. Here is Zabi. Zabi either had a lot more damage than it looked like he had, or he's on fresh tyres. And you can see him here. That looks like he's right behind. That looks like Bart Raven's car. So that is 5th position just ahead of him. So he is a lap down on that car, but keeping up with him well. That could mean that when everyone further ahead pits, he could be looking in a good position if he can stay on this pace with these front runners. What will be awkward is if those fresher tyres mean that he's faster than Bart Raven, but only by a small amount, because Bart Raven will not want to let him past with that blue flag, and he will not be allowed to defend if he does get past. Stop go 30 for Duran. That could be the race for him. The AM leader in the Lamborghini sped in the pit lane and is now not going to be able to win this race unless Harley Coleman makes a similar mistake. That is a nightmare for our man in the amateur Lamborghini. Hamlin still pulling out in front in our pro Lamborghini, but Sosmoggy has managed to pull back that gap. That had moved up to a whole 2 seconds at some point, but he has brought it back down. Dan Terry there just ahead of him. Alexandra Quiros pits. That was from 7th position, I believe. Let's see what he does as Duran is back in there to serve his penalty. Stop go 30, especially meaningful in these races where you are not taking tyres, because rather than being a whole extra pit stop, it's a whole extra pit stop and some. Alexandra Quiros has also, it seems, gone for new tyres. So that is interesting. People seemingly thinking that this is a pretty harsh track on the tyres, but there are plenty of people not doing so as well. So it's not like there is absolutely no chance. Raven still stuck to the back of Sasha. Close in there. Quiros has just come out of the pits ahead of Dan Terry by quite a nice way. Actually, Dan Terry got knocked back earlier in. We really want to see here. I don't even think Smoggy will be that interesting because he's probably not going to lose any time on him. I want to see Eric Larson pit. I'll be interested to see if Eric Larson does the pit strategy that I have been thinking is probably best, and whether that could bring him ahead of Matt F or Matt Evans. This has turned out really badly for Zabi. Really badly for Zabi. This is honestly the worst thing that can happen when you put on new tyres. Putting on new tyres pulled him far enough back to get stuck behind these two, who are not on fresh tyres. They've not even pit yet, and Zabi just can't use the pace that's in those new tyres. There is a back marker here. Looks like Ed Terrell got a little bit slowed down. Is Ed Terrell for position for Zabi? That is. So Zabi there, put off by the two faster cars, has lost a position straight up. Oh no! Contact again! Bart Raven. Bart Raven got a warning for the contact that he had with the 51 of Sasha last time, or the 38 of Sasha. He is the 51. This time, I think having that much bigger impact will probably end up being a penalty. There's James Holder right behind him as well, still fighting for this position. We see also a Elberg off the track. Let's check what happened here. Elberg defending pretty hard there from a BMW. I think that's Alexandra Quiros. Comes back to the line. Oh, big punt into the wall. Catches Mats as well. Oh, Mats, don't reverse too much in that position. Yeah, so that's unfortunate from Elberg. Obviously, Quiros will argue that Elberg came across him and didn't leave him time to sort of react, but if he's ahead of you enough to come across like that, like, you sort of can. I don't know how the stewards will see that. Like, if it was within the braking zone or not, it depends exactly where Zabi started, or Quiros started braking as well. So we've had a little bit of a mix-up in the field further back. Sasha... Has Sasha actually completed his pit stop now? Yeah, he has, yeah. So Sasha popped into the pits there. He is behind Matt Evans. There we go, yeah. So the ACC time tower was just a little bit behind. He has hopped in. The shortest pit stop of everyone so far. Definitely going for just that splash and dash method that I suggested would probably be the fastest. We will obviously have to see where Raven comes out to see exactly how that went. And Holder, he got knocked around just before the pit and so decided to jump in where he could there. We still have 16 minutes for these guys to pit, and they can do it at any time. So they're not worried about tyre life right now. If you've gone this far, you are not taking new tyres. So everyone in this top 7 are going with that splash and dash fuel strategy that I was talking about. Matt Evans haven't lost anything yet from going any longer. But we will see if that happens. Zabi obviously taking on tyres. Alexander Quiros also taking on tyres. Maybe that's why he had the confidence to brake later there than Elberg did. Because he is on that fresher rubber. So Quiros is leading now out of those who have taken tyres. He is back behind Dan Terry by quite a lot, I think. So there's Quiros in the main straight and Dan Terry already into turn 2 or 3, whatever that counts as exactly. Johnny Woo and Attila Cody, the closest pair on the track right now. James Holder having 15 seconds from the incident with Dan Terry. 10 seconds for Quinn. Is this a new 10 seconds for Quinn, or is that the same 10 seconds that Quinn has always had? No, 27 and 101. Who's 101? Did we see that? That was Gustav Gorgstig. Yeah, we did see that. Will Holder need to serve the time penalty at the pit stop? I believe so, yes. You can turn off taking stop-goes and drive-throughs because it's that or your pit stop, but I believe time penalties are automatic. I don't think that option is there for them. So I think both Holder and Cody will have to take those penalties in their pits. I think most people normally say they want to honestly. Most people prefer to take the time penalties in the race rather than leaving them on the timing tower. Because if you lose 15 seconds or whatever on the timing tower and you only just come behind someone, right, you end up like a tenth behind someone, you've just lost that position. Whereas if you'd taken that 15 seconds on the track, even though timing-wise you'd be 1 second behind them, by the end of the race they probably wouldn't have managed to get past you if they're only just behind you. So it is normally better to take it in the pit stop, but that will obviously put them quite far back. Sasha has had an incident there in the 38 car. There's been a lot of incidents later in this race. I don't think there was one with him. Yeah, takes it a little bit too fast. You could see him wiggling on the entrance and then just tyre onto the grass, sends him off. That is an unfortunate one. Lots of damage there on that Audi. Christopher Elberg is into the pits yet again. So I guess he must have some significant damage there in the number 3 car. I can see an incident involving him that's being looked at by the stewards. So when these incidents come through, we will go and have a look at all of them. Sasha there with his hazards on. This is actually, do you know what, shout out to Sasha. This is, I believe, the first time I have ever seen the hazard lights in ACC used for the purpose of hazard lights. There's a good job there by him. And unfortunate that he has taken so much damage that will put him right out of the race. There is Elberg. Yep, he's been stationary for a long time. That was a big chunk of damage for him from whatever that was. Matt Evans and Matt F back together on the track. These two are having a pretty consistent battle throughout this race. It's been a good fight between those two. I'm sure they will be happy with this after the race. You don't often get to be in a continuous battle with someone for so long. Gustav Gorgstig, the back marker in the Lexus out there. Oh, missed the corner there from Matt Evans. Missing the braking in that corner seems to be a pretty constant issue for a lot of our drivers. Way past the Lexus there, leaving space on the inside for Lexus to still be there. Good safe work with the back marker there from Matt Evans, who is second position right now of those who have hits. 111 and 169 will both be getting warnings, so that is okay from both of those. And 111 while he was passing Eckhart von Glan. 169 diving the number 3. So it seems like that's Christopher Elberg, but that is after Christopher Elberg had already received the damage which put an end to his race here. So that was probably a bit of a dive, a bit of an aggressive dive on a damaged car. So I hope the stewards start issuing some penalties soon, because the race has really calmed down. And I think, oh, big drift there from Matt Evans, as I say that, this would be a good time to start looking at some of these incidents. Let's just look at them. Let's just look at them. They're going to start giving out these penalties soon anyway. So none of these penalties are yet to be given out, but since we have a lull in the race, we're going to see what they are. 51 and 38 here. 51 is Bart Raven. So this is him with Sasha. We saw this one live. The stewards are deeming this to be 10 seconds to Bart Raven. The 42 and number 3. So this is Alexander Quiros, and this is the incident that put out Elberg. We saw that one. Big smash there. And that was early on the lap as well, so he had to do a whole lap back damage. That's going to be another 10-second penalty. The 351, that is Guillaume Hamling. That is our leader. He is going to be getting a penalty. Just takes a little bit too much speed into that corner behind one of the back markers and takes him out. So that actually puts Smoggy in the lead of the race. We hadn't even been looking at that because we'd just forgotten about those two. They'd seemed so consistent. And then this last one is going to be the 109 here. He's going to get a 10 seconds for... Oh, that's a big mistake, that. Taking out Eric Larson. That is a big hit on Larson as well. Let's see where all these guys are now after those incidents. Eric Larson is still 4th. Obviously, it's going to be important where he pits in terms of the 2 mats, so that could have ruined any chance of an overcut from him. Chris Elberg is obviously out of the race after that huge crash down the start-finish straight. Sasha crashed himself after that incident and put himself pretty much out of contention for this race. He's down in the middle of the AMS right now. Eric Larson, we've just seen. Who's the other one? Car 100. The Car 100, Dennis Gatto, is in 4th place right now with the AMS. So doing a pretty decent job. Obviously, Duran, who gave himself the penalty, is bearing down and is going to be looking to take Dennis, but Dennis is only 2 seconds behind Matt Turner in the other AM Lamborghini, so not doing too bad there is Dennis Gatto. There you go, you can see the timing tower there, 10 seconds for Guillaume Hamlin, Bart Raven, Alexander Quiros have all been applied, just waiting on the penalty for the 109, and I think the reason we're waiting on the penalty for 109 is that the 109 has quit. I do not see him in my standings anymore, unless I am blind. Oh no, there he is. I am blind. Honeycomb. There we go. 10 seconds for him. Has just come through. So all the guys with green badges, as we talked about earlier, green patches next to their badge, I guess. These guys are going to have that 10 seconds added onto their race time at the end of the race. Everyone further up the grid is going to take those 10 seconds. So this is going to be now a win for Smoggy after Hamling made that mistake into T1, murdering a back marker and taking the full force of the stewards. So, interestingly, this won't actually help too much Bart Raven, as he also has a 10-second penalty. So this is only going to lower the points of both championship contenders right now, pulling Smoggy closer to these guys. It'll be interesting to see where that makes them come out in terms of the 2 mats. Bart Raven on a better strategy, but was behind the 2 mats beforehand. I would have expected him to maybe be challenging them, but he now has a 10-second penalty. Eric, who I also would expect to possibly be challenging them, we saw him get turned around, so he may not be challenging them anymore. James Holder has that 15, so he's unlikely going to be challenging him. The two Matts are looking pretty good right now, but the question comes, have the two Matts done well enough to stay within enough time that Guillaume Hamling's 10 seconds might put him into them where he should have been well ahead of them before? That's what I'm going to be looking for, I think, in this pit window, which closes in 4 minutes. James Holder is going to be the next driver moving into the pits. James Holder was fighting with Dan Terry before Dan Terry got sent around by James Holder. That's what he got those 15 seconds for. So the 15 seconds should put him behind Dan Terry. Dan Terry got into a bit of a fight but ducked out of it quite quickly with that early pit stop. So I would expect to see James Holder come out outside of the top 10. How far outside of the top 10 we don't know. But Quiros is not far off the back of Dan Terry. So let's have a look on board with Zabi. I think Zabi might be the one who sees James Holder come out ahead of him. He is already on the move, actually. So, made a pretty good run. So on board with Dan Terry, just in case. Even with those 15 seconds, it looks like James Holder really did have the pace. Because there is Dan Terry, there is Quiros. Okay, I was right with those two. Zabi quite far behind. Yeah, I shouldn't have doubted myself. Look at this. We're just coming through here and just missed seeing James Holder. There is Sasha just ahead of us, but obviously down that. But if you hop on board with Sasha, you might be able to, when we turn around this corner, see, there we go, there's James Holder just behind the map there. Johnny Woo now heading into the pits as well. James Holder out there, just between Turner and Gotto. So that is Turner just ahead of him, Gotto behind him. And there is Duran behind as well, who's looking to make a position there. So, yeah. Turner gives him the space there. Oh no. And he can. We're going to have to look back at what happened there. So, Turner gives the space for the faster car to go through, and Dennis Gotto tries to follow him through, but then turns in, doesn't leave the space there. I've got to say that's on Dennis Gotto there. The other Lamborghini of Duran just not giving himself enough space to get around the back of the other Lamborghini. The other Lamborghini might have rolled backwards, but from the view we had, it does not look like he did. Alexander Quiros right on the back of Dan Terry again now, just like we saw in the first stint of this race before Dan Terry was knocked around, but Alexander does have that 10 seconds now, which makes things a little bit harder for him. He's going to have to pass and get further forward. Smoggy, Hamling, Raven, all in the pits. Larson coming in as well. And Cody will be in soon. This is their last chance to get their pits out of the way before the window closes. And this will be interesting soon to see exactly where they all come in. So Matt F is coming around the last corner. The 351, it looks like it's already on the move. The 284 and the 351 are both already out of the pits. So our leaders not going to be challenged. They were well ahead of anyone else. Matt F, if everything has gone right for him with his strategy, is hoping to come out into third, and it looks like he has. Matt Evans just behind him should be alright as well. You can see there Eric Larson on the right hand side of your screen. The 555 is coming around, but that's our back marker. So as the pit window closes, there's Eric Larson. And there's Bart Raven. That's just behind Matt, so that is not for position. So yeah, they've all done pretty well. Where's Cody going to come out? Was that Johnny Woo? No, but here is Johnny Woo, and there is Dan Terry, Quiros fight as well. Quiros down the inside of Terry, but he's going to let him go smartly, not fighting that anymore because he knows there is that 10-second penalty on Quiros. They can come by. Attila Cody coming out just behind this fight. Bart Raven got himself a stop go 30 as well. No, that's ruinous for his championship contentions. Bart Raven, we were talking earlier in this race about how far back he was considering what he needed to be fighting in the championship as Smoggy crosses the line. Guillaume Hamling about to follow him over in second. Bart Raven, he can't even serve his stop-go 30. I hope he knows this. I hope he doesn't try and go in the pits to serve it. He just needs to finish the race and take his penalty. If he tries to go in the pits to serve it, as soon as he crosses the start-finish line, he will just take that penalty and he will lose time from going into the pits. Yeah, he knows. He knows. He knows how the game works. Thank God. I've seen a lot of people mess this up because it's such a rare occasion to happen, but Bart Raven does not. He's going to roll down the front space just behind Eric Larson, who actually spins and kills himself on the line there. 120-second penalty for Bart Raven. That is an awful penalty to get for speeding in the pit lane. Awful. Super, super painful. And that is going to really hurt his championship contention. That is a very good, I think, visual indicator of how he's feeling with that. Harley Coleman here is about to come across the line. Even with those 10 seconds, he will be winning the amateur class. So congratulations to Harley Coleman. If we go back to the scoreboard for AM, as ugly as it may be, you can see Harley Coleman and Matt Smith are actually the two fighting for this championship, which is interesting because Duran seemed to have so much pace. Duran is actually down in 11th. So, not doing super well, but Matt Smith didn't do well at all in this, so that's given Harley Coleman a huge lead in AM. Harley Coleman is looking to do very well in AM. You can see how close that battle at the front is. So Smoggy, who's down here in 9th place, he's going to be getting a huge jump up from that win. And we can now see the official standings post-penalties. And there we go. Bart Raven drops down to 13th. Once again, I'm going to start the music, but immediately cut away from the video, as we do not have a video for any of the new tracks yet. And so here is the results of Indianapolis. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for Broomy, who followed. Remember, we will have this stream again next week for 2 30-minute races. Let me just check where they are. Are they at like Alton Park, I think? ACCSS Sprint Series Championship events. Laguna Seca, 2 30-minute races at Laguna Seca, and then the final 1-hour race at Donington Park. So we'll see you then next week. We'll see you at Imola tomorrow with the man himself, Paul Glover. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.